No, no traje disfraz. I'm not wearing a costume or anything like that, but I know it's Halloween weekend. Tomorrow for sure, though, you guys will see the costume if you follow me on social. So make sure you check it out. 305 times _ or you can follow me at Sabrina.Aponte. Show some love, of course, and make sure to subscribe to 305 times if you haven't already on all platforms: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, everything. You know what it is. But let's get this show started today, because not only do I like speaking to, talent, entrepreneurs, people that have something to offer, especially when they represent the 305. But today I have a dear friend of mine.
Yes.
Yes. I turned on your mic.
Yeah.
I have a dear friend of mine who is joining me, one of the most supportive people out here, not just with me. I just know how much love he shows to anyone out here who is hustling. And I am excited to have him on the show tonight. Big, warm welcome to King Tetrus up in 305
Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
with his From Dade hat.
Always. You know me. I always got to show love to the bottom and where we come from. You know what I mean?
I hear you on that. Especially, I'm like, anyone that's lived here, grown up in Miami, even if you weren't born, if you show love, that's more than enough, I think. We welcome everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I always got to clap it up from the bottom. You know what I mean? If you're from here, 305, even some 954, even some like West Palm, I'm still going to show a little bit of love.
South Florida.
Right.
In general. Yeah.
South Florida. But if it doesn't count, if you're like
the rest of Florida,
from Aventura lower.
Yeah, the rest of Florida, I don't know. You guys you guys should be considered up in another state, but we are our own kind down here.
Yeah.
Now, Tetrus, I'm used to calling you Greg, so now I gotta, we rapping.
Yes.
You're on the rapper persona right here in front of the mic, so I gotta keep it Tetrus.
My mom looks at me and calls me different names, so like I don't know. Baby, Dusty, or Greg, she just be snapping. I'd be like, okay, mom, I know who you're talking to. Okay, if we make eye contact, I know you're talking to me.
Now let's talk about your journey before we get deep into the music.
Yeah.
Because I know that your journey, just from knowing you, I know your journey has been a bit different. Getting into this, you're a huge FSU fan.
Go Noles, yes.
Yeah, go Noles. Let's start with that. So
Yeah.
you went to college at FSU.
I did.
You played college tennis.
I
which
did
is,
play
I think
tennis.
It's like such a fun fact about you.
This is true. Black people play tennis too, guys. Black people do play tennis too. Just want to make sure I let the people know that.
They do. And talk to us a little bit about your experience, growing up in South Florida, going to school at FSU, and of course playing tennis.
Sure. So Miami, growing up here was also one of like the most invigorating, I guess, experiences. I got to really understand who I was going to be at a very young age. My introduction into music came by way of my oldest sister, Keisha. She was an avid Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, all that I'm angry rap type stuff, right? Like all that angry rap. And then spring break comes around. She graduated college in like 93, 92, 92, 93. So I was like a baby, right? She then gives me Nas Illmatic, looks me in the face, and was like, when I come home for Christmas break, I need you to know this. Like,
oh, she gave you a homework.
Yeah, she's like, no, you can't hang out with us, because I have 3 beautiful older sisters. You can't hang out with us if you don't know this music. And I was like, oh, bet, now I got to do something. So
how old were you at the time?
Oh, 8 years old.
Okay.
Right. My parents are from Deep South Alabama. Like, we're black, Deep South Alabama country. And so they really weren't with the whole hippity hop thing. You know what I mean? They weren't really with the whole rap thing. So I had to listen to music like I was on the Underground Railroad or something. Like, I was like listening to it.
Are you a church boy?
Yeah,
more
yeah.
Like, you grew up with gospel.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't go too far to gospel, but a lot of funk. A lot of like Funkadelics, Peter Frampton, Hendrix, that like soulful kind of new age stuff. And then high school happens, and then there's this thing called girls, and apparently
I know a few.
You know a few of them?
I know one or two things about being a girl.
Yeah, about some girls. And then as I got older, I started to be like attracted to girls, right? And I went to Beach High freshman year, and I was like, wow. Like before that, I went to this little private school, and I was like, the girls weren't built like this. So I need to figure out how I can create my mark, right? And I was like, sis, how can I, like, what can I do to be one of them dudes? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not getting kisses on the cheek. Nobody's saying hello to me like that. Like, my MySpace is kind of low. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I create a mark? So then it got to my sister's like, you got to start collecting sneakers. Girls like guys with nice shoes. And I was like, easy.
She put you on. She was giving you all the tips.
All the game. And then she's like, also, you might want to like learn how to dance or rap. And I was like, you know what? I might want to learn how to do both. You know what I mean? Fast forward to now, I like to rap and I like to dance. You know what I mean? So
if you don't know Greg, I want to say this right here. He's not, like you mentioned, he's not Latino or none of that, but
no.
It's literally like it might as well be in his blood the way he dances.
A little sazon.
One of the best bachata dancers, salsa dancers. Also, you'll knock out anyone on the dance floor. I'll tell you that much.
I do the best I can.
And I love that you represent that about our culture, because everyone will, assume that you are Latino and you. How do you know how to dance?
It's important. What I found was, growing in my circles, I was always like the minority where most of the people were Hispanic. So when you're going to people's houses, you don't speak the language. Their parents those kids maybe first generation. How are you really going to like embrace the culture if you're not really speaking? So I love to eat, I love to cook, and it was kind of like, all right, I'm gonna learn how to do this, and then I'm gonna learn how to dance, just so that way I can make my impact and kind of embrace it. And I think that's some of the best decisions I've made. Also, I forgot to answer the question about Florida State. I forgot that in tennis. Like I totally forgot that. So my dad played tennis in college. Okay. And I don't know if you know this about me. Football and basketball have like height and like weight kind of expectations. Right. And it was very clear that I was never going to be able to touch the top shelf in the kitchen. Like I was never going to be able to touch the top shelf, right? So like my parents were like, at the time, my sister Deldra, she played tennis, and I was like, yo, I want to play. And then she was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to play anymore. And then I got really good at it, and then ended up at a school in Alabama, hated it, and then transferred to Florida State. Sat the bench, like I was like a bench warmer, like the worst player on the team. And then I was like the best dressed cheerleader. Like I was like the best.
But you're good.
No, I'm good. I got better. Okay. Like I got better as like life got on. But then, I got injured senior year, or like the first time I was a senior, because I was like on that like 12-year plan in school. So
it's
like
okay. We all were.
Yeah, like that first time that I was in a senior. And it was like one of the best gifts, because it's always shocking when I'm a melting pot where like I'm a black guy who likes Spanish music, who plays tennis, that raps and talks extremely proper. It's a lot going on. It's just
Is it overwhelming for some people? They can't handle it.
Yeah, it's just a lot going on.
Good.
It's just a lot going on.
Let it be a challenge.
I find myself that like I tell my parents thank you, because you groomed me to be able to connect in multiple circles, right? Like you can't just put me in a box. But I mean, I rap now, so I guess you could put me in a box. But like,
no, but it's different, and that's why I wanted to talk about that a bit, because I don't want to just bring on here just any person that's been rapping and writing, and doesn't really have a backstory to it. Like, this is what led you to rapping, and this is what's inspired you. Experiences also that I'm sure you had. Yes. So that's great. Now back to the Latino culture real quick, and the dancing and everything. I wanted to highlight too that this is, I guess, like you're my first, I want to say, American rapper on the show. Yes. So first on 305 times, because
I'm out here.
For those that have listened to the show, I base it a lot on Latinos and the entire Latinx community growing up and things like that. Is what I usually like to have. I guess it's because what I can relate to more. But a lot of times, the artists that I have on here, they're doing reggaeton and that Latin trap and dembow and all these genres that have come out because of hip hop
yeah.
and rap. I mean,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
has been their influences. So it's so important too to bring that back, like just kind of bring it back around for people to know where it's coming from, the music that they listen to every day and things like that. And kind of just, you know, it makes music just one. It brings us all together no matter what genre you consider yourself in. But yeah, so I wanted to say that. And now we could get into, you know, the deep King Tetrus.
Let's do it. Let's do
Who
it.
is King Tetrus?
Just your average overachiever. Just here trying to tell a story about coming of age. And I think like our generation was always like kind of stuck in this bubble where people tell you, hey, you have to go to school, you have to do this. Basically the trajectory is, hey, you go to college, you get a good job, you make $100,000, you have a family, and then you die. Like that's basically what I guess like our parents was like, no risk, no creativity, none of that, right? And I think for the greater portion of my life, I had a uncomfortable relationship with honesty and like being honest with myself on what it is I want and what it is I expect from myself, right? So through music, I was able to be who I really wanted to be, right? So like if you had met me in a different arena, like if you had met me through work, you would have never guessed that this is who I am,
This
right?
other side of you.
You would have never guessed that this is who and what I like to represent. And the music was a way for me to not only showcase who I was, but because of the environment that I was raised in was not culturally, I guess, like completely tied to Black America, right? Because I went to mostly Hispanic schools. Most of my friends were Hispanic. My way of dipping in and kind of holding on to my culture happened through hip hop. And that's why I fell in love with it, was because it showed me the war stories. It showed me what other people are going through, and that might not be my reality, but it was able for me to say, okay, well, this is how I'm going to participate in Black culture. This is how I'm going to be me. So when in college, I did some shows, some mixtapes, had a little bit of buzz. That kind of went off the rail a little bit, and this past year, or the past 2 years, potentially, it was like, I've always felt like heartbreak kind of brings out the best in all of us. Like Adele, like The Weeknd, right? Yes, did I just compare myself to Adele? Yes, I did, right? No, so when heartbreak happens, and 2 years ago, I went through like a big breakup, and I looked at myself and I was like, I don't like where I'm at. I don't like what I'm pushing out. I don't like the energy I'm putting out in the world, right? And I don't know if today someone meets me today and says, and here's what people said about me previously, and they would be like, this is no way this is the same Greg. No. Or Tetrus. I'm sorry, I'm still used to my rapper voice, right? Still used to my rapper voice. So when Out of Tokens came about, I had an opportunity to do something that I'd always wanted to do, right? And quarantine happens, I'm locked down for hours and hours a day, and beats start coming in, and then concepts kept coming in, and then I decided, I was like, okay, well, what do you want to rap about? And I said, I know all my friends are fighting these similar battles, right? Where it's like the world tells you can only be creative on your off time. Your world tells you can only be creative when it's convenient, right? Like, go do your job, go sit in someone's office and do whatever you do, but when it's time to be creative, there's a time and place for it. That's what the story is about, and I always feel like I was the most honest with it. I got blessed with some amazing features, from Black Boy Joy and Cash to Dina and Dean to the nameless person.
You beat me to the whole intro of the
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, my bad. I apologize.
I'm gonna pause you right there.
Go ahead.
Going back to kind of like just your in general upbringings in rap and writing. That's what I wanted to know more or less. Like, what inspired you to start writing, and when did you start? You were writing already in college, because you mentioned you were
high school girls.
In high school, okay.
The girls. Yes, I was a part of a group called FWA.
Okay.
And it was Stanford Free World Artists.
Okay.
Except when 8 Mile came out, it destroyed us. So like, F the 3 World, 313. After that happens, no one listens to you if you're a part of a group called FWA. So that happened, and then I changed schools, and then just kind of kept to myself and just kept writing, and then just was one of those things, like every day I would write, or really I come from like what we call cipher culture, where it's just like nothing but freestyling.
Right.
So like in high school, you know, you have homeroom. Before homeroom, I'm rapping. At lunchtime,
Do you
I'm
guys
rapping.
have like a certain corner where everyone will link up and hey,
Yeah.
this is going down?
Yeah, 200 wing and beach high. If y'all know, y'all know. And we had like no instrumental beats. We just had like the guy with the 2 pencils or 2 pens or a quarter and a pen getting busy on the table, whether it's grinding or whatever beat it was. And then you have to rap. And every day you got to rap. You got to rap. You got to rap. So every night I would write. So that way I could rap the next day, and then that just became a thing, and that's just really where the process came. I would say like this album was the first time in a long time I actually like wrote with purpose, where it was like, okay, I can't talk about money, I can't talk about cars, I can't talk about being fresh.
Yes.
Like I need to figure out where it was, because my voice really isn't deep enough for me to talk like street-ish.
Right.
Like I can't, like it's not
And
believable.
if someone really knows you, like the real Greg.
Right, like my name is Gregory D. Owens. Like,
Oh, we said the government name. Let's
like
go.
that's my name. You know what I mean? Like, if you looked at me in childhood, I tucked white polo shirts and khaki shorts, and like my
What did you? I don't think you mentioned it, but what did you graduate school from? What did you study?
political science and economics.
There you go.
I did political science and economics, because my dad was like, you should study money, and my mom was in politics, and my sister and everybody was like, you should do this. So I didn't even think
They
twice about
influenced
it.
your decision more,
Yeah.
right?
So I would say like this album was like the first time I was like, I'm going to make a decision myself. Like the career I had, I didn't really pick. The school I went to, I didn't really pick. The sports I played, I didn't really pick. So it was kind of like
This was for you.
it like it hits you. Time hits you. It's like, wait, no wonder I'm unhappy. I didn't pick any of this. Like I didn't want to do any of this stuff. So once you take control of your happiness, it's amazing how things kind of transpire. And I try to be as blissfully like happy and on point as I possibly can all day, like almost like Disney style. Just
That's
like
That's such good energy, though. Although I know that it's not always happy, and you can't always you can't fake it. I say that all the time here while I'm on air, because there's some days where I do not feel like talking. As hard as it is to believe, I don't want to talk, or especially like about certain subjects. And I mean, this whole 2020, and there's so much. But I guess in exactly, this is 2020. You're wearing the perfect shirt. And it all falls back. But let's go to how you chose Tetrus. How does someone come up with that rapper name?
You want the cool story or you want the real story?
Both.
Both?
Yeah,
okay. So the non-cool story is I went in the summer camps.
I used to go to those.
Right. I used to go to summer camp at Scott Rayco Youth Center on the beach. Okay. And like I begged my parents to like let me go to Youth Center, because that's where all my friends went. So like half the day I would go to tennis camp. This is literally like the funniest story. I would go to tennis camp and then like go to Scott Rayco Youth Center. They had video games there. The older kids didn't know my name because like half the day I wasn't there. So like for half the day they would just see me playing Tetris, right? No one knows my name. They start calling me Tetris. Okay. So I'm like, God, all right, crap, right? So then this is how I'm gonna be in high school, right? I start rapping. I pick another name, but those same kids are still calling me Tetris. So like it was a pointless. So I was like, I can't tell people it's because an older kid didn't know my name because I was at tennis camp. Like you lose the little street credibility I did have, like was done. So I'm like, yo, how can we flip this up? And someone asked me this in an interview recently, and I was like, they go, why the name Tetris? And I said, no matter which way you play the game, it's always about good bars. So no matter which way you put it together, it could go different line and different line. It's about the bars.
Drops mic.
Right? And I look at them like I'm 6'12", and I'm like, what's up? Like, what up? Tetris.
But I love that because it's all about that confidence. Like, nobody's going to listen to what you have to say unless you you believe in yourself. And it shows now.
Yeah.
Is that do you think you were lacking that a few years ago when you weren't writing, or you weren't, I guess, like deep into the music?
I don't know if I lacked. I won't say many people. I won't say many people would describe me as lacking confidence. As like I'm on live and my sister's like laughing right now. I wouldn't say anyone would say, Greg Owens, Tetrus, that guy lacks confidence. No, I think what happened was it was like I had so many deficiencies that the confidence was like a crutch, right? So like people that like people saw through it, and then I was like, what do you mean? Of course, there's nothing wrong with me. Like, I'm the best ever, right? Now I think I'm just really confident, and I've been humbled by the experience to get to this point. So now it's like I appreciate the little things so much more. I appreciate, like, I was like the quintessential Miami douchebag. Like, I was like the douchiest person. Like,
I don't believe that.
I
met a few douchebags in Miami.
Like, I promise you, I was the like definition of the Miami douche, right? Like, from brunching, bottle popping, nice cars, like jet setting, name dropping. Right. I was 110% that guy. Honestly, like I really was, to the point, and that's how I got into like the clothing and vintage, was because I was so douchey with like name dropping and designer and stuff that I was like, oh,
I need to come back and make this look good.
I need to figure out how you can go do a 180 here, and then that's just kind of like where it came from. So I don't know if I said, to answer your question, never really lacked confidence. I just think it was misplaced. I think it was the product of listening too much Kanye West music. I think it was pretty much, that's probably what happened, is that I probably listened to way too much Kanye and like took it to heart. And I was like, yeah, like he has millions of dollars. I don't, but our lifestyles are the same. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah, like you can't do that.
You know, funny you mentioned that, because Black Boy Joy actually reminded me of Kanye.
It should. So we sampled a ton of Kanye-esque things. If you can't see it, because my hands are in air quotes, like a lot of Kanye-esque things. And I say this all the time. Kanye West made it okay for me to be me, right? Where like I didn't feel like I needed to rap about straight gun bars and, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. My sister hit me and was like, hey, Dusty, because that's my name. That's one of my names. Hey, Dusty, here's this guy named Kanye West. He wears pink polos and fitted clothes and backpacks, and he doesn't talk that crazy-ish. Yeah. Here you go. And this is, again, pre-Kim. So this is like pre-Kim.
Right.
So she's like, oh, you should listen to him. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I love this. So the reason for the production, specifically Black Boy Joy, I wanted something angry. Like I was like, right when George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, all this stuff kind of came out, and I was like, you know what? I need something angry. Right, but because my voice isn't angry, right? Like even it's like pew pew, like
the words gotta match.
Yeah, the words need to back it up. Like you hear pew pew on the beat, you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to hear that. So I was able to get something with like lots of drums and angry bass, and it was very Kanye Yeezus-esque kind of thing. So that's actually one of my, like, I think the second favorite song on my album, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely made it to the top of my list too.
There you go.
So for those that haven't listened to Out of Tokens,
yeah.
Now this is your debut album, which you just dropped on your birthday.
This is true.
October 10th.
10/10.
So happy belated birthday online. We gotta say it on air. We gotta make it official on air.
Aw, thank you. Thank you.
How you did it in the middle of a pandemic, which is something that you spoke about a little bit, and I heard you. It's so crazy hearing you speak about it, as it's the ideas are just coming to you, and then watching you just kind of do it. Start dropping singles, and then when you actually had like the full album ready to be released, like it's so, it makes me happy for you, especially in a pandemic. I'm like, how do you do this? How do you manage to get inspired, especially because so many people were, just affected creatively very much different. And with music, I guess I would think it's the same, but obviously everyone goes through different experiences, and you chose to kind of put out what was happening in the world in your lyrics.
Yeah, absolutely. So my take is that my dad says this thing, and I found out like recently that he like totally ripped off the whole saying. Like my whole life, I thought,
where'd you get it from?
I totally thought he had said such insightful things to me as a child, and now like I found out it was not him. Right? It says like the dictionary is the only place success comes before work. Okay, right? And he said this to me, and I was like, wow. Dad, you're Socrates. Like you're like the most philosophical person on the planet, right? And when the pandemic hit, I had so many things I didn't face, right? And I think it was easy from the way I dated, which is why I told you I was definition of douchey.
Miami douchey.
Basically, what would happen was, let's say you're my girlfriend, okay? You have a problem. You raise the problem to me. I say, okay. And then I just go find someone else. Like, there's no, like, facing the problem. It's not like, oh, we should talk about this. Or, hey, like, I just didn't.
What can we fix?
Like, can you just close the cabinets? I didn't mean for us to break up. Like, nothing like that. And that was concurrent around all different aspects of my life where I just didn't face things. So, like, if you're at home by yourself 24/7, once I started to write, it became a way for me to face the problems and face facts of the things that I needed to do better and be okay with saying I'm not okay and be okay with saying I got to do better. So the creative process simply was, let's just try to open the floodgates. Let's just see if you can be this honest, right? Or are you as what everyone else says that you are, right? Because like after a certain point, if everyone tells you that you're this terrible person, you just kind of like believe it or like you embody what that means. I didn't want that in my music. Like I wanted people to hear the music and say like, wow, you really did something special, right? You really put pen to paper. You really tried. And from top to bottom, I wanted to put out an album that said, I'm unapologetically myself. And if you're having trouble being honest, if you're having trouble finding yourself in this crazy world, maybe you listen to the music and you might get sparked, right? And that's really why I made Out of Tokens, right? And the name Out of Tokens, no more games. Like, let's not play anymore. I don't want to do anything else. This is who I am. You like it, you don't like it. This is how I dress. You like it, you don't like it, right? And as long as you can wake up and smile through the BS, then you'll find your peace, right? And that's just kind of like my approach to the writing process. Was like, I got to kick something into gear. Like, I every year I'm just always like, sorry, sorry. Trying
to put yourself first.
Yeah. King, you know what I mean? That's why people ask me why I call people king and queen. I said, you're ruling your own kingdom. You know what I mean? So
he
like,
does. This is true.
This is true, you know? True. This is true.
Now, this is, Out of Tokens has 9. You have 9 singles on Out of Tokens. 2 of those that you dropped, which was Timeless and Love is Love. They were the first 2 that you dropped prior to the album.
Yeah.
Why those 2 songs?
All right. So funny enough, crazy. Timeless was like not supposed to be on the album.
Oh.
Like it was not supposed to be on the album.
Why?
What happened was the homie Triple Z was like, we recorded the song, but that was the first song we recorded on the album. This is like before the album got shaped, the subject matter, anything. It's the first song we recorded. He goes, bro, this is dope. And I said, okay, cool. But we did nothing with it. A couple weeks go by, my homie Berto and my homie Trent, you know them, Trent. Right? They're like, Greg, why don't you just put it on SoundCloud and see what happens? Just see what happens.
The feedback.
Just see what happens, bro. Just put it on Timeless. Put Timeless on SoundCloud. I'm like, all right, whatever. I drop it in the middle of the day. No pub, no machine, no marketing. I wake up the next morning, 3,000 listens, and I was like, wait, what? Like, y'all like this? Like, what? Like,
there you go, doubting yourself.
Well, I was like, what? And then them two are like the worst 2 people to say like I told you so, because they just like they roasted me in the group chat, and I was like, you right. So then within a week it hit like 15,000, and now it's at like 40K like listens, and I was like, I guess you guys like this song. And then Love is Love was like the one song that Triple Z hated. I was in the studio making it, and they're like, Greg, this is like, we hate this song because I'm a rap. I'm a, you know what I mean? Like I rap. So like when people heard Love is Love, they were like,
they didn't feel like it was you.
Yeah, they were like, I don't understand how this is gonna fit. And I'm like, bro, just listen to me. I promise you. My cousin sent it to me. My cousin Ephraim sent me the thing with the person that goes nameless on the song, right? The person that goes nameless on the song. And I'm like, he goes, yo, this is a dope beat. Just do it. We really want you to do it. And I said, cool. I laced it. And then of the songs that have done well, it's like Timeless, Please, Love is Love, and Black Boy Joy. And I'm like, oh, I guess y'all really liked it. So there was not really some foolproof plan, and I want to scream that. Like, I wish I had like a formula and like a really, hey, this A&R person told me to drop this song in the feedback in the community. No, this is literally,
It was genuine.
just I dropped it and people were like, yo, this doesn't suck. And I was like, wow, thank you. I appreciate it because I worked on it not sucking. So like, just was one of those things that just was God's plan in Drake voice. Like, that's basically what happened, you know?
And I saw you already recorded the video for Please Please.
Yes. So the homie Mark or Concrete Art, he hit me and we did a jam session for Ignite, right? Just this past week. Mark and I went to high school together. Mm-hmm. Him not knowing I make music, me not knowing he's like really into the arts and photography and went to film school, right? Like, I don't know that, right? They don't tell you that in the alumni like brochure you get once a year. Like, hey, these two people should connect. Didn't happen. So then he starts telling me all these ideas, shows me all these concepts, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want something like simple but like really artsy. The homie Jamil actually helped out with it, and now it's pretty much done. It's gonna be like this new concept of like a live music video where like you're actually recording the song live.
Okay.
It's a live performance, but it's a music video. So it's still like cutting and everything, but the vocals are a lot more genuine because it's like a live performance. So I saw a couple of those on Instagram, mostly done from singers. So I'm really interested to see like if this is the worst idea I've had or like the best idea I've had.
It's all trial and error.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it. When can we expect it?
Soon, kind of, sort of, maybe. I would say probably in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we recorded Please Please yesterday. We're recording Timeless on Sunday. And we're working on the concept for Love is Love. But I can tell you because like we're cool. The Love is Love exclusive.
Right here on 305 Times.
Exclusive. Right. So what happened was, I don't know if you know this, but I like to make jokes, right? And talk ish, right? Like that's like my thing. It's like if I could just talk ish all day, like I can get paid for it, it'd be great.
You should be a radio host.
Oh my God. Maybe in another life. Maybe. So what happened was I'm like, you know what? Love is really, I don't want to make music videos where it's like super cliche Miami where like I'm slow motion hopping out of a car with like white jeans. Yeah, like something like that, like with white jeans and a leather jacket and with sunglasses on and like my friend Berto's chain and like a girl who doesn't know any of my music or anything like that. So I reached out to a bunch of friends, right, that are like models. Like this is like what they do for like their lifestyle.
You brought out all your pretty friends.
So I hit them up and I was like, yo, I want to make like a spoof on what it is to date in Miami. Okay. So we have like the first scene, we're going to have like girls and guys in a pool. So I have like all my friends that really work out, like that are like muscle bound and like tall and chiseled and stuff. And then I'll have like them in a pool, me trying to go up to a girl like in the pool and be like, hey, so what's up? You come here often? Like kind of joke about it. And then we'll do that at a club. We'll do that like at a bar. We'll just kind of like different types of people where like I just completely get turned down the entire video until I find the one person that's like, I hate the guy.
She's on the same vibe.
Yeah, that's like, I hate the guy with his shirt off when they're at the movies. Like we're just watching a movie and the shirt's off and hey, we're going to go to Komodo 5 days a week and you live in Pinecrest and drive a BMW, but you live at home and like that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like you're laughing because you know
exactly
that.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, you know who and what those people look like and we're basically just going to make fun of that. You know what I'm saying?
It's all fun out here. I'll say that. Now, since you mentioned Ignite, I want to play. That's the song I want to play.
Let's do it.
Because it's just like, you know what? I'll say this. The full album, the first time I listened to it, you know, when you're in and out, you don't give it your full focus. So I'm like, all right. Then I tried it again while I was at the gym because I'm like, I need to like focus on something and like just get me that pump. Yeah. And that worked.
Yes.
Even with Love is Love and Ignite, which are a little bit different than I guess from like your full on rap. And I just love Ignite.
Yes.
Who is the Dina?
Dina
Okay.
and Dean.
Dina and me.
So shout out to Dina. She's actually from Miami. Okay. She's on like her soulful kind of like the child of like if Erica Badu and like India.Arie, but like listen to Janie and Nico, all like had a child. that would be like who she is, right? So funny enough, I didn't meet her until after I had recorded the song.
Oh.
So the producer sent me the beat and he's like, hey, this, you know, like, if you want to drop some verses, like this will be your song. There's already a hook. And I was like, I love that. Yes. Give me something that I don't just have to like, I have to create the concept from back to forth. So then I reached out to her, we ended up meeting, and then she was like, green light. And it kind of just went down that way. And I thought about it like this. Before Love is Love and Ignite, I had no songs that my sisters or any girl would ever do their makeup to ever. Right? I'm like, I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about like being fresh. Like, how are we going to get my friends in their car with their girlfriends or like their wives and be like, yo, I heard this new rap album. Let's play Tetris. And then like, if you hear the first 3 songs, you lose her. She's like, ugh, another rapidy rap song. Like, I'm done.
That's why I like to shuffle the songs when I listen to it. I don't know why. I feel like you have to listen to an album like in order once, at least once.
Yeah.
But then for the rest of it, I just like to shuffle it.
Yeah,
Surprise me. Mm-hmm. Especially when it's new. So here you guys have it. King Tetris. Ignite.
Let's go.
305 times.
Ignite my fire, take me higher for once. I know that you've been waiting on the right time, but I'm telling you right now, the fire. I've been waiting on someone. You've been on my mind often, so baby, you know you're getting this good love.
What would you do with your once in a lifetime? Tell me. I don't know what you did for respect. I died for mine. My life's about patience and a slow grind. I can't wait. Success, me and you, we got a date. They claim he lies, he's fake. But what lies under the surface is my purpose, defined by women and designer purses. We talking LVs, Virgil. How I scheme off-white, this the bottom. The home of thieves, no apologies for a second on this earth. If I get a second chance, I'll double my worth. The hustler spirit. Hope the city blushes when they hear it. Soft-spoken but violent, but my soul is ignited. My love for the game, there's no way that you can deny it. Anything past tense, I move past it. Gymnastics, how I flip. What you see is what you get. No matter what side you pick, I'm the shit. Always ready.
Take me higher for once. I know that you've been waiting on the right time, but I'm telling you right now, the fire.
Just something inside, baby. This is Tetrus.
I've been waiting on someone.
I've been waiting for you a
You've been
lifetime.
on my mind often, so baby, you know you're getting this good love.
Let's go. In my own mind, I know that I'm a legend. Only make moves with the brethren. Please don't start with all that damn stressing. I didn't need Excedrin, just waking on my blessings. Yeah, you can't help who you attract, just watching you entertain. Cause some of these women just trying to be maintained. She said, if I want vagina, gotta get a designer. Regardless, she's heartless. Neiman Marcus is where you find a mi vida. Mi amor, who only loves Dior. She only answers texts when she's hungry or she bored. She pretty and petty, so that ass don't listen. But Birkins somehow just always keep her attention. My favorite line they say is that I'm different. My girl told me she don't do well with competition. She don't get jealous, she just lose interest. Dating in the city is sin is always vicious. Yeah. It's that fire between me and you.
Take me higher for once. I know that you've
Outta
been
here.
waiting on the right time, but I'm telling you right now, the fire.
Tetris. Yeah.
I've been waiting on someone.
Someone.
You've been on my mind often, so baby, you know you're getting this good love.
Good love. Tell me again.
Take me higher for once.
Okay.
I know that you've been waiting on the right time, but I'm telling
Tell
you
me.
right now, the fire.
I'm glad you feel it too.
I've been waiting on someone.
Someone.
You've been on my mind often, so baby, you know you're getting this good love.
Ignite, King Tetris. Welcome back to 305 times. That's a bop. You had to have that in there.
I had to. I
You
had
had
to.
to. Thank you to everyone that's still listening. And we still got King Tetrus here. Only a few minutes out from the end of the show. But we still kicking it here. And, you know, some other things I wanted to get into with you. I noticed that you were working with Black Hand Records.
Yes.
The record label. Talk to
Black
me a little
Hand.
bit about that.
Okay, so the Black Hand is a collective. Okay, it's less a record label, but more a collective of unapologetic rappers who are okay with being weird, right? Like the homie Triple Z is like a punk rock rap angry kind of person. He's actually on the album on Desperado, but his energy is like one of my favorite because he doesn't care. Like he's just, this is me swinging it, like this is who I am. And then it's Burden. Also, he's gonna actually, great plug, Black Hand has an album that comes out tonight. Okay. Tonight at 12 o'clock. Okay, it's spooky season. It's called Day of the Dead. I'm not on it, but Black Hand, the movement, will be on it. So that's just a collective of MCs that I've kind of latched onto and kind of took me under my wing or whatever. So shout out to the Black Hand for sure.
Are they, because I've obviously seen you take part in a lot of like open mics and things like that. That's part of the group that.
Yeah. So Black Hand would be myself, Triple Z, Burden, and then a couple producers. And then where you see me like on open mics, that's called Cypher in the Circle. So that would be the collective. I call that like steel sharpening steel, right? Where it's basically like a bunch of MCs here from South Florida, ages from like 18 to like 40s, but all of those people rap. So like you go there once a month or once whenever it is and really test out your rhymes. And if you can get the buy-in of that crowd who only listens to like rap, you're in a pretty good spot. So that's actually how I got the confidence to do the album, is that like I would go to the cyphers and they'd be like, yo, yo. I'd be like, yeah. So,
I feel like they all have your same energy. At least when I watch the videos, they're like, oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Oh,
yes, that's where you get all that right from.
No, so that's just genuinely me, because like everybody else is so like 8 Mile, like, right?
Angry, yes.
And then I come in screaming, let's go, right? And my like super hype man, right? Like I'm already super complimentary. So like my hype man stuff comes out and people just don't know how to act. So I always try to make my presence felt, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole thing. I'm little, so it's like that Napoleon thing. You want to make scream louder than what you really are, you know what I'm saying?
Now, speaking on, record label and the whole Black Hand Records, what are your thoughts on being signed to a record label and being an independent artist?
Yes, this is the age-old conversation. It's like having a conversation around like Republican and Democrat if you're an artist, right?
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
and I say this too because, I mean, we've heard so many rappers like speak about it and regret signing with labels and things like that. Some others, look at it as their big break and go for it. Big Sean recently also mentioned like what his first check looked like while he was with Good Music and being with Kanye, what his first check from Kanye was. I'm like, well, like you don't expect that because Kanye was Kanye at the time that Big Sean started. So it's,
So here's my take. Prior to the album coming out, I think it's like a hope dream because our generation, like if you're like even 27 to like and up, getting signed is like a mega thing, right? Like you think that you've made it, you know what I'm saying? However, after the album dropped, I sold 600 records the first week.
oh,
Quiet, humble flex. 600 albums first week. I looked at the numbers. For what I got back after everybody got their cut, I would have had to have 6 million a million streams to get the same amount of money for 600 records doing it myself.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe not right now, right? This isn't something for me, right? I think like there's something special about interfacing with and like hand-in-hand exchanges with everybody who buys your album, and seeing like the personal emails of all my friends, family, people that support me, people from abroad, people from near and far, it's like a special thing I think might get lost if I only did something through a record label.
Yeah.
But if Jay-Z came knocking, I'd be like, yo, you can take, I will do whatever you want, bro. Jay-Z, Kanye, yo, like,
Just forget about
literally forget everything I just said. Like, my homies are like, oh, you would never signed to Hope, and I was like, if Jay-Z even looked at me, I would cry. Like, I would die. My soul would leave the earth.
The honesty behind that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to hear, how artists thought of that, especially just getting started and putting your work out there, like what you think. Now, let's talk about Black Boy Joy, although you spoke about it a little while ago. But I feel like with the current times, first of all, have you voted already?
Yes, I have voted.
Okay.
I have voted
already. Great. I'm like, I've been asking my last few guests, have you voted? Anyone, really. I was speaking to a stranger the other day, and I'm like, did you vote?
Yeah. My family's a political science family.
I just want to know, did you vote? Did you like, make it count and not just repost things and not end up voting,
no.
especially with everything happening.
My mother, my sister, my dad, before he retired, all were government like employees and like worked for like elected officials. So I've been reminded since maybe a year ago
Good.
that I need to vote.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so important to vote, especially during this year's election?
I think for me, it comes from a different vantage point because my grandparents my parents are the first generation after civil rights, right? So like they lived a way different life than like what I see now. Like my dad told me he didn't go to school with anyone that wasn't black until he was a senior in high school. Not by choice, just this was the world. And some of the stories that came out from like my grandparents and like the Jim Crow laws and not being able to vote, and like, they really did a lot and paid a lot away and paid a lot of dues, and a lot of people had to subsequently die in like blood and sweat and tears for this opportunity. So I take it very, 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 very highly, simply because I've heard the stories and I've been looked in the face by my dad's dad and my mom's dad, and like, yo, like you don't understand like how big this is. You know what I'm saying? So I think that what we don't realize in our generation is that it's a lot of people had to fight for this. Women, African Americans, minorities, up until recently weren't able to do that. That was only like less than 70 years ago. You know what I mean? Like grandparents' parents, like that was just recently. So I think it's important to vote because if you expect change, you have to embody the change that you want to be a part of. So, but that's just my political science background. I got real preachy. I heard some Public Enemy on the way here, so like I'm real preachy right now. But
that's what I love. It's such a common misconception about rappers and are the new hip hop versus like the old hip hop, where I guess we could relate to lyrics more. People thought more about their lyrics and what they were saying.
Say something,
right? It wasn't just
something.
a beat and some colorful hair or anything like that, and tattoos on your face, and
no,
it wasn't just the look, the image. It was what you were saying, and so I think it's great, especially that you put it out there with Black Boy Joy, because you kind of touch a little bit on that. So what was, just kind of recap what the inspiration behind that was, and why you decided to have that song on Out of Tokens?
It's been a crazy year, right? And we've had multiple crazy years, right? And when we think about all the progress that we think's happening, that's not happening, and we realize like so because I'm from Miami, Trick Daddy, right, had a song on Book of Thugs. I'm sorry, Thug Holiday, sorry. It's called America, okay? And he has a verse where it's like, you can make $100,000, but white America basically still going to believe that you're still an N-word.
Right.
Okay. So I'm listening to the song as I'm smoking hookah, and I'm like, you're right, Trick Daddy. You are right, sir. Okay. You are right. Then I started to think about it, and I just, I wanted to say a lot. And I think what happens is like in our own culture, we sometimes like have like this crab in the buckets mentality where like we want to pull each other apart, where we see somebody else get up, the first thing anyone does, like if they make it out of a hood, they tell you not to come back. You know what I'm saying? Because most likely the hater that's going to take you out is going to be somebody that you know what I'm saying? Like the Judas rule, right? And when I started to make Black Boy Joy, I wanted to do something unapologetic. I wanted to stand behind something. I wanted to say, like, I'm here to uplift. Music uplifted me. I want to uplift and do something for the culture, right? And I went to go record it at Miami Beat Wave, which is like a staple here in South Florida. And I'm recording the song. He's really hard to impress because he's recorded like Talib Kweli and Mos Def and like all these people. So like I would rap and then wait for him to kind of tell me if it sucked.
His reaction,
right? Like, did I do good? Did I do good?
So I get a sticker now.
Yeah. Did I do it? Do I suck? So then he's like, hey man, I know somebody who would really like this. And I was like, who? And then my homie Malik was in the studio and he's like, we got to get Cash on this. At this point, I didn't know who Cash was. And I was just like, oh, I didn't really listen to a lot of his music. So at that point, I was like, let me listen to the music and then make my own distinction.
Right.
Listen to his stuff, and it's mind-blowingly incredible, right? Like, he has a song called Luxury Raps that's easily one of the best songs I've heard in, like, 10 years. Not like amateur, just, like, he's amazing.
Right.
Then he had a song called Black Mogul. Incredible. So this is all he talks about. It's, like, the upliftment, empowerment of, like, our culture. And he blessed me with, like, the best verse. I was like, after hearing him record it, I was like, I'm so bad at rapping.
But it's great that you guys were able to come together for this and, you know, put a strong message out there right before elections.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, King Tetrus, for coming out today.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, you and I are friends, and I wanted to come in and say this, you know, publicly. I think what you do and the platform that you are providing for artists, right? Whether it be here across the world, because music is also global, but specifically because you're in the Latin community, that music truly is global, right? You're providing a platform, a safe haven, safe place. And some of the interviews, I watch them, but I don't understand what they're saying. But like, I can see body language. I can see like people are so comfortable with you. And I think like it's amazing that you're sharing your light. And I just want you to say I appreciate it to the utmost, upteenth power that, you know, one of the first, you know, English speaking or rap albums that you let me come grace your platform. So peace, blessings. If y'all haven't heard the album, come check it out.
Yes, plug it in right now. Let's go. Out of tokens.
Can I put my rapper voice on?
Absolutely. Go
this
ahead.
Is a staple now. This is rapper voice.
I'm sorry I don't got a cool beat for you, but let's go.
Check. Hey, yo, peace and love, all the above. King Tetrus in the place to be, rocking with 305 in the building. If y'all haven't come checked out that album, Out of Tokens, is on every single streaming platform. Find your favorite song, tag me. You can find me at King_Tetrus and on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything you need. You know what I'm saying? So peace and blessings. Jam to the album. We out here. Thank you.
Say thank you.
Check.
That's how we needed to finish the interview. Thank you so much for coming out.
No. Blessings. Thank you so much, Queen. Appreciate you.
Sending so much success and just positive energy your way, and just keep shining and bringing the light to all of our lives, King.
Oh, appreciate you. Peace and blessings.
All right, guys. King Tetrus. Now, we are getting into the Halloween weekend, besides everything else happening in the world still. Even if you're just dressing up your costume in the house, because that's probably what I'll end up doing, you know, just you gotta get it in for the gram, take a few pictures, let it be known that you are still in the spirit. And I think more importantly with this year, we gotta continue celebrating holidays, even if it's Halloween. I mean, we gotta have something to look forward to. I even saw Walmart already has Christmas trees out, and they're getting ready for, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and all of that. So we're almost there. Let's make these last 2 months count. Election day is on Tuesday, November 3rd. So if you haven't already, this is your weekend to go out and, you know, do your early voting, do your duty. If you live in Miami-Dade County, I have posted all the early voting site locations on 305 Times, as well as the Times. So make sure you check that out. If you have a mail-in ballot, it's literally just driving by and dropping it off, showing your ID and dropping it off. No line, no wait. I 100% recommend it. I rode my bike to the polling site. So there you go. Get a workout in and vote 2 for 1. You can't beat that. Now, also take this into consideration that the county curfew still stands from midnight to 6 a.m. Although the city of Miami no longer enforces the Miami-Dade midnight curfew, you know, the the county is still fighting with the lawyers to keep it viable amid a whole court fight that they had. So just keep that in mind if you all are going out to celebrate. But let's not forget the few options that we still have in this pandemic to do. Now, something I'm super excited about, if you guys have want to do something different, not Halloween related, the new Sky Wheel at Bayside Marketplace is officially open. It's been around for a few months now, but they did not have it working or anything like that due to the pandemic. But the grand opening just happened this week, and it's located at Bayside Marketplace in downtown Miami. You can enjoy some of the best views in the city. Take a quick, nice selfie, a photo shoot. I'm already suggesting people to propose to their partners on the wheel. It's nice. It has like red interior seats. It's not just any Ferris wheel like we see at the fairs. So it's really cute. Something to do with your family, you know, date night, whatever. Make sure you guys go check it out. Also, this weekend happening, what would have been the hip hop festival Rolling Loud. Of course, as we all know, it did not take place this year, but it is still happening virtually this Halloween weekend via Twitch. So it's a 2-day event. It's going to feature different artists, different rappers. And besides that, they're going to have interviews, interactive segments with the crowd online, and costume contests for a chance to win cash prizes, tickets, and different merch. So make sure you check it out on the Rolling Loud website this weekend. And it's completely free. Now, another option happening here is a Halloween harvest night that's being hosted by the Berry Farms in Redlands. So not only are they selling cinnamon buns and all of that, they're going to be, you're going to have the corn maze, trick-or-treating, Halloween costume contest, all of that, live music. So make sure you check it out down south at the Berry Farms. And if you go to floridastrawberryfarm.com, you can find out the tickets, the ticket prices and all of that. Now, the Fairchild Tropical Botanic Garden is also hosting a spooky story time tonight. It's from 7 to 9:30 p.m. You guys could check that out with your family and all that. And the Frost Science Museum is also doing their 4th annual Spooky Science Monster Mash, a day that is going to feature special programming, photo opportunities, pumpkin hunts in the museum's aquarium, and different other options for the family. Halloween is such a kid-friendly, adult-friendly, everything. It brings us all together with the costumes. So, spend some time. Let's try to forget a little bit about everything going on, but still be safe, maintain the social distancing, wear your masks. If your costume doesn't have one, still make sure to wear one. And let's have a good weekend. Let this be the start to an amazing weekend right here on 305 Times. Thank you so much to everyone that tuned in live, listening to the interview with King Tetrus. Make sure you also check us out on podcast, YouTube, subscribe to 305 Times, and show some love. Now, I am signing off for today. I'll be back next Friday with some more music and great talks here. Thank you so much. Signing off, Sabrina Aponte. It's been a pleasure. Until next Friday. Bye-bye.